I think back to your point of white people are more sensitive. I don't have anything because I'm with you. I think we've been riding on the coattails of black people, and we're gonna benefit and reap the rewards. There needs to be systematic changes, right? Yeah, I don't. So as you can see, slavery is not happening nowadays.
Right.
But the oppression is the human right to live, right? That's unequal, for the black community, and but I think that comes from years of just when you see your people killed, or your brother, your sister, your mom or dad killed, and there's no right in that. It is like a lynching, because those are traumatic events. And I think when you're traumatized, I was talking to my dad and mom today about, like, they're like complaining about me going to Lake Street and talking, right? Because they're watching me. I'm like, y'all stalking me, man. And they're like,
they only know from your Facebook.
Yeah, and because they're friends with me, and I'm like, I should unfriend them. But my mom was saying, don't talk a lot about white people. So supposedly they know what I'm saying, and they're just like, don't, because you might offend one or the other side. And I'm like, you guys just are scared, but because you guys don't live and rub shoulders with people that don't look like you, and that's fair. But I want you to know, don't project that fear to me. And my dad was saying, yeah, but you also understand we come from a world where we've been oppressed all our lives by other people that aren't like us. And so we've been traumatized, right, ourselves. And so that's why there's that fear, right? And so that's valid. Where I'm like, okay, I don't know that world, right, where they've ran. And so there's traumatic, like, just they're traumatized, and they haven't had that healing. And to flip that script to black people, dude, they're traumatized too, because of 400 years. And me and Gong, we were talking yesterday as we were cleaning up at Lake Street, and I was like, imagine, so 30 years, I've seen what it looks like 30 years in my life here as a Hmong Southeast Asian guy, right? And I've been on the outside of, and I've never been the in circle. I've always been the only Asian wherever I went, wherever I worked, or I won't say that everywhere, but mostly. And I've been desperate to be heard or just seen. Not that I'm like slaved up or chained up or oppressed in that, but you can imagine, like, 400 years, how that feels when you see, if I see like that Asian lady that we saw that got kicked in the face a couple of weeks ago on the social media every day for 400 years. What does that look like? Because we see here and there incidences that do happen that is unjust in the Asian community, and I'm not gonna overlook that. But consistently every day, like, it'll strike a chord in me, like, more, and there will be more rage as I saw the Asian lady, and it just strike a chord, and I'm like, that rage just flared up. But imagine that every day, and I don't know, man, like, thoughts around that.
But everybody has their own struggles, right? And this is where I think this is what causes a lot of the drama, right? So, like, a person can't say that, hey, I don't agree with the looting, because immediately when you say that, then you're the problem. It's people like you that don't see the reasons behind the looting. You guys are the reasons why the cops get away with whatever they do, right? And then it triggers everybody to defend themselves too. And so this whole back and forth is always like you said, the oppression Olympics. Everybody's been oppressed. Everybody has been like beat up at some point in their life, but and some more than others. But like to discredit the guy that only took one beating because you took 10, like, to say that, oh, but that doesn't hurt as much as 10. He's gonna feel some type of way too, So everybody's in their emotions right now,
Do you think?
I think, like, the whole, how, so I know me and Doug was talking about this earlier, and then we talked about it on Friday too. But like the whole shaming people for not being outraged, like I don't know how to feel about that, you know, sometimes, because you, when people say it's not their fight, right, and they get guilted into trying to do something about it, like, I don't know how to feel about that. Like, how do you guys feel about that? Yeah. So as I'm thinking about it just right now, like, I think the middle is that my fight is different, you know, like, yeah, I'm not out there protesting with you guys, right? But I'm not sitting back and saying black people deserve this, or, you know what I'm saying? And my fight is different. Like, my fight is within my circles, where I have some friends that talk a lot of crap. You know, I have some friends that use the N-word freely, and I'm the one that checks that, you know? And so I think that's where my fight is. Like, at least at this point in my life, that's where my fight is. And I think that's for a lot of people, is sometimes their fight is different. Like, they're not out there protesting, but they're not out there just saying, hey, like, it's just on the blacks, you know?
So it looks different for you.
It looks different for me, yeah.
Do you think it's fair? Because for me, I'm not progressive at all. Mm-hmm. I'm not an activist. So going back to the Black Lives Matter, you know, and where do we meet in the middle because I guess rubbing shoulders, not just with one black friends, right. Or, you know, there's a couple there, and not just Minnesota black friends. So I think, and working, I think, in the community, for a while, of just, you know, like Northeast and now over New Hope, Crystal, Robbinsdale, North Minneapolis, I think for me, because I'm one to be like, no, I own my Hmongness, and I do my best to reach out to my Hmong folks in those community, you know, and I won't overlook that. And that's where, you know, my, you know, part of my heart is, or my identity. But doing that, I've been rubbing shoulders with, you know, a lot of students, white, black, Latino students. And I've just, I think, had a heart for what I guess people don't see. And so it's kind of like, because I see it, I have to say something about it. Like, it comes from a place of like, I'm in the middle of all this. And if I have this awareness, I need to challenge people to be aware or educate themselves that there may be something we may be overlooking in the community and society. And I think that's where that's my middle ground. You're right. Because I am involved in some of these communities, not all, but some of these communities where, you know, day in and day out, you rub shoulders with people that don't look like you. And you're just like, if I don't say anything, but I have this perspective that maybe people don't have, you know, and I'm tired of the Karens. I'm tired of the extreme, you know, gun, you know, I'm not against both, but I'm tired of those voices. But I have this middle ground that, you know, I have this like unction or this urge to like challenge people to find an awareness or educate themselves too, that maybe we are overlooking something here in society, that there is systematic oppression of human right, you know, to live. And that's very heavily, you know, weighted on the black community, but that's a lot of people that, you know, don't look black too, you know. And so I think for me, that's like my middle ground. Like, how do I challenge people? I don't think I'm not one to like, I'm not one to like lead a horse to water and then shove that horse face in the water to drown. Be like, you have to. But I'm one to like, hey, like, I think this is something you may need. Come to the water,